Carolyn Potter, Spreydon-Cashmere Community Board.
Some seem to be getting a lot and some seem to be getting all. Kia ora, tātou.
Kia ora.
Hello, Leanne. We've only got a short board report this time. I'd like to draw your attention to on the front page where we're looking at the Youth Awards. There are 3 young people there who are travelling internationally. 2 of them are going to Future Problem Solving World Championships. But the last bloke, the young man, is going to Globe Theatre workshop and performances in London. And I just can't even believe the experiences that young people can have these days. And honestly, their parents must shudder when they think of the next project that those kids are going to involve themselves in. But that's amongst the joys of being on a community board, is that you get to see those that give those awards and sometimes see them come back and report on them. I just want to mention briefly the couple of projects in our ward. Coronation Hall, along with Centennial Hall, we had a report on Centennial Hall in our last meeting. These are sort of two structures that have been sitting in our ward since the earthquakes, one, and since a motorbike went into it, the other, that remain unused and unloved and uncared for. And we look forward to the LTP coming out to find out if we can actually further the issues that both of them carry in the centre of our ward. It's depressing seeing both of these structures that were heavily used in their day deteriorating in the middle of the ward, and we have hopes that the LTP will give us something that could either assist in making making final decisions about both. The Off the Ground Fund is a fund that was established, actually it was Jenny Huey's idea, staff member Jenny Huey, and it was her idea several years ago, immediately after the earthquake, that we would have a small fund that would give joy, and the intent of the fund is to do nothing else. It is only to one-off to organisations for whatever they dream up that might add up to $250, and its only intention really is to give joy. And it is one of those, and it has become of increasing importance in a way because the small funds have gone. And it's really nice to have something that we can say to the community, we can help with that when they've got a bus trip for older people or planning to build a dragon in the kindergarten's playground. And it does give us joy too to be able to approve some of the applications most of the applications that we get, and the processes of there's no process really. It's just they ask for something, tell us why, and we say yes. Community workshop on the District Plan and Resource Management Act processes. This took a long time to organise, and I wish we did more of them. Some of the processes of council and legislation are arcane and difficult to understand, and being able to talk to the community about how the district plan is organised, what it does, where it happens, who's in charge, and the Resource Management Act processes and the changes that have occurred therein is really interesting, and I think I'd like us to do more of them. The other thing I wanted to mention, we had the mother of all cleanups. One of the founders of the River Network is on our board, Helene Mountner, and our board involves ourselves, all of the members of our board involve ourselves in this. This is a cleanup of the river from the top of the Heathcote through to the estuary, and all of the organisations along the Heathcote, Pauaho Heathcote, are involved, and people come along in huge numbers actually to clean up. I think it was 800, just over, and that are collected, and we have the cooperation of the council staff, which is great. And I met lots of residents on the day who were helping to clean up with their children. This was this was yesterday. See that cake? Faye Collins on our staff She made that cake for us, and we had one the opening of the St Martin's Library. Faye Collins made a cake which was a pile of books. The icing was a pile of books, and Faye and the fence at the top's icing as well, and with the trellis. And so Faye made that, and she does it out of the great goodness of her heart. And and we had, this is a morning tea for the Craycroft gardeners. And if you look up there, all of those people there are heavily involved elsewhere in the community. Some of them were in the Junior Children's Library. Some of them are involved, John Cousins is there, and Rick. They're involved in the Craycroft Residents Association. Caro, third to left, is a Craycroft Wilson, was born a Craycroft Wilson, and the non-suburb, and I've got a discussion about that, of Craycroft, which is one of their binds, is that they're not officially a suburb. The Craycroft is named after her family, as is the old stone house, and she set the example of going on the zip line at a glorious age. And so all of those people there were gardeners in the Craycroft Gardens, and they loved it. And they loved the gardens, and they acted under the control, the stern control of Norma and Roberts. What's his first name? I've forgotten it. Betty and Norman Roberts, under the stern direction of Betty and Norman Roberts, who were the ones who saved the old stone house. And they've had to give up the garden. It has got too much for them, and we came in and had a morning tea with them yesterday, which was terrific. I had ordered lamingtons and cream on everything. And the Samoan Language Week, these are 4 quite frightened people singing in the foyer of the City Council here, and they came from Rowley School and Hill Morton School to sing for Samoan Language Week. They did that last Thursday, didn't they? It was last Thursday. And the progress report, was the pamphlet. Melanie is absolutely thrilled that her idea of a pamphlet coming out in the rates has finally come to fruition, and the age-friendly action plan is being launched at the Older Adults Network meeting next 4th of July. And there on the back is a note about the Craycroft suburb residents seeking some kind of understanding of what it means to be a suburb and how you get to be a suburb and whether you are a suburb or not. And this has arisen because the name Hoon Hay has been splashed around 10 or 11 k's apart. One goes up the valley, one goes up the valley near Horswell Quarry Park, but Hoon Hay itself is over much closer to this side of town in Spreydon, near Spreydon, sorry. And that was an issue that we'd like to raise with staff, which is there. And I think it probably is an issue everywhere. Thank you. Yeah, Tim. Sorry, madam. Sorry. No, and you get so used to chairing that you just keep on.
I was just looking up how you make a locality and create, sort of suburb names, how you make them official, and I think, Tim.
That's all been done. The only organisation that doesn't recognise it is the council.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you mean?
Well, it's been registered or whatever through the government, so that the Crown has recognised Craycroft as a neighbourhood.
As a suburb.
As a suburb.
So that's the New Zealand Geographic Board.
Yeah, yes, they've done all that, but it's the council that doesn't. Yeah.
And there are other areas in our ward who
does New Zealand Post recognise it?
New Zealand Post invent suburbs.
Yeah. So, that's the anomaly. We are.
You don't want to carry over 10 minutes.
Staff responded advising that the areas returned in a rates and valuation search are not what would be considered suburbs. They are administrative boundaries and do not align to other agencies' definition of suburbs. So all you're asking is that our rates and valuation search identifies it as a suburb.
Not as a suburb, just as an area that they can rate.
We can discuss it.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
No. We'll take it up. I mean, it's
Thank
been
you.
brought to our attention officially. Thank you. Right. So, Tim, would you like to move the receipt of the report, and seconded by Phil? I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. That is carried. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very